So, the CEO of Crypto.com, Chris, is speaking out again and with some very bullish posts on the X platform that I want to talk to you guys about because today is a very historic day for crypto. Not only did we yesterday see the Fed cut the interest rate for the first time in 2025, which is historically speaking the catalyst to trigger an altcoin season, but we're also seeing ETFs. New crypto ETFs go live in the United States today for Dogecoin and for XRP. And yes, of course, we do have a Kronos ETF coming soon, and it will very likely get approved. At least that is what Chris, the CEO of Crypto.com, is hinting at here today. I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about what these Fed rate cuts mean for Crypto.com and the altcoin market as laid out by Crypto.com in this publication put out yesterday from them on their website that I think you're going to have some very interesting takeaways from. So stick around to the end and welcome back to the Crypto Report, everybody. I am Crypto Kip. Do me a favor, smash the like button if you enjoy these updates, subscribe to the channel for more content, turn on a notification bell, and let's talk a little bit about the excellent momentum we have in this market as we have had a tremendous move from from $15,000 to $125,000 for Bitcoin already this year, and right now we're sitting around $117,000, trading a little bit higher since the Fed rate cut yesterday for Bitcoin. And Ethereum is also up right now, as is really almost all cryptocurrencies, especially in the top 100. Look at some of these gainers today. Here's a coin that came out of the blue, hit $1 billion market cap, is up 284% today alone, which is incredible. You have Immutable X, which is up 19, call it 20%. Several coins that are up over 10% today. This is really a tremendous rally for altcoins. And no, CRO is not at the top of this list right now, but it is getting a move to the upside slightly today. 4.4%. Now, what I've been talking about for CRO is a possibility of a dip down to 20 cents. However, it does seem that we have found some kind of bottom off the top of these wicks for now. These wicks back from November of 2024 that we're seeing here for the CRO price. And this is not surprising to me, given the fact that the broader crypto market is finding a rally after this Fed rate cut that we saw yesterday. Now, I've been discussing on this channel the possibility of a buy the rumor, sell the news event with these Fed rate cuts. And there's a reason for that, but we're seeing a rally today. But what does Crypto.com think, and how does their opinion differ from kind of what I've been laying out over the last while? And was I straight up wrong about a potential dip after the FOMC rate cut announcement actually came out? Well, let's look at this article real quick, and I'm going to get to Chris's tweet about Crypto.com and a Kronos ETF here in a second. But I think this Fed rate cut conversation is very important because the volatility surrounding Fed rate cuts is extreme. And by the way, if you guys want to do some trading, you can check out in the description of this video and all of our videos down below. Check out the description. There are sign-up bonuses for a variety of exchanges. The two exchanges that we use the most here on this channel are BitGenX and Blowfin. Both me and Blacksea use these platforms. And up to a $100,000 deposit bonus is available for you on BitGenX. And on Blowfin, up to a $5,000 deposit bonus with a 10% trade rebate if you haven't signed up and you're a first-time sign up for these platforms. So if you want to do some trading, you can check those out. But let's get back to Fed rate cuts, which causes the volatility, and go to the question, are we going to see some kind of dip with this Fed rate cut conversation going on? So the key takeaways are that obviously the rates were cut because of job growth being slow. We know why the rates were cut. I'm going to kind of skip over this. But what is their take on what will actually happen to the markets? Okay, so let's just zoom right to it. Impact of Fed rate cuts on crypto, because really that's all we care about here. Fed rate cuts can weaken the U.S. dollar and assets denominated in U.S. dollars. This can make crypto a more appealing asset. Again, Fed rate cuts are bullish for crypto, as it's not tied to any national currency. Investors may be attracted to crypto as a hedge against volatility in the U.S. economy, and this is something we've been discussing for years. What they also go through and say here, though, is back in 2020, during the pandemic, crypto values rallied as as the Fed cut rates repeatedly, these rallies tend not to happen immediately after a cut. Again, these rallies tend not to happen immediately after a cut, but there has been a pattern of crypto values increasing in line with Fed rate cuts. So what this says to me is that Fed rate cuts are bullish. This is something we've discussed for years on this channel, and especially over the last year, we've been waiting for these Fed rate cuts. This is the thing that could trigger altcoin season and a CRO coin price surge. But you can't bank on it happening immediately after a cut. Now, we are seeing prices going up today immediately after the cut. But what I want to continue to watch out for is the September volatility. There still could be a dip in September. Does that mean that you are just ignoring crypto until there's a dip? No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I wanted to talk to folks about, and I have over the last few weeks, is this dip was very logical for some of these altcoins, especially CRO, and I still would not be surprised to see it come lower. There are no guarantees in crypto. I can't possibly predict the future. Maybe CRO coin does not dip lower, but with the fact that we've historically not seen an immediate rise after Fed rate cuts, and the fact that September is historically speaking bearish for CRO and crypto overall, I am cautious of the possibility that there might be another dip down to some of these lower levels. But there is a very bullish catalyst coming up besides the fact that these Fed rate cuts are quite bullish. And that is well laid out in this post that is retweeted by the CEO of Crypto.com. I know you know. I think that's what this means. Basically, I know you know. I know you know. I know. I think you know what I'm saying. But he reposted this X post from Albert, who's just a guy who's a big Kronos influencer on X, and this guy's made it into my videos here like twice in the last week, so he's really getting noticed by a lot of people. Chris, and I think a lot of people have been paying attention to this guy's posts. But here it is: breaking news: CRO ETF will be approved. What happened recently is the SEC just published new generic listing standards for commodity-based ETPs, including crypto ETFs. And looking at the specifics of these rules and looking at the CRO filing, this Albert account deducted that the CRO ETF is going to get approved. Now, I'm not surprised by this. I felt very confident that CRO was going to be able to get that ETF approved. And I just love to see this post from the CEO of Crypto.com like, I know you know. Yes, it's coming. I think I'm botching this acronym, but I think you know what I'm saying. I'm sorry. But he is basically doubling down and saying, yes, the Kronos ETF will be coming out. And he's implying that it's very bullish. I think it is very bullish. I think that crypto is looking quite bullish as we approach the end of 2025 as the Fed rate cuts are coming in. I am cautious of a potential dip. That doesn't mean that it has to happen, guys. There's a chance that we have an absolute surge here for the crypto markets and Bitcoin keeps exploding. There is a chance that Bitcoin dominance has a little bit of a rally before we get true altcoin season. These are scenarios that I continue to look at day in, day out on this channel. And if you like these updates, subscribe to the channel for more content. And if you want to trade the volatility of these markets, you can check out the description of this video and the pinned comments of this video down below. There are sign-up bonuses available for you guys when you sign up for Bit2Next for the first time, and Blowfin if you want to check them out and you haven't done so already. You can copy trade, you can demo trade there, trade with fake money to learn trading, or you can do really, any kind of leverage trading you want on the coins they have listed. And they have a lot of coins listed, so check those out if you want to trade CRO, Bitcoin, ETH, whatever it might be. But don't be mistaken. Rate cuts are bullish, in my opinion. That is what history has shown, and we could be having a massive explosion for CRO sooner rather than later. $1 CRO. I think it's a slam dunk. Do you? Let me know in the comments down below. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel, DCA. Hold on, my friends. 2 videos here if you want to check them out. I'll see you in the next one, y'all. Peace.